Welcome back, PlayStation 5 Pro gamers. We've got some good news because Sony have been quietly improving PS5 Pro's PSSR behind the scenes. And if you know why this is a big deal, you know, because a lot of games that were announced for the PS5 Pro that got PS5 Pro patches came out and gamers were furious because it not only did it sometimes, in some cases, break the game, it made textures, it made the game look ugly, it made the game look worse than it does on the regular base PS5. And gamers weren't happy, quite rightfully, because they paid a lot of money for a new PlayStation that supposedly played at higher resolutions, higher frame rates, and supposedly, well, you would expect, look better. But that wasn't the case, and a lot of developers have had to backtrack in removing PSSR from some of their games. And if you don't know what PSSR is, it's the new upscaling technology, AI powered by Sony, that Sony and PlayStation pioneered together. They basically take a low resolution game image, or, you know, take a lower resolution game for, let's say the game runs at 1080p, and then stretch it out to 4K and have it still look like native 4K, except it's not really native 4K, it's 1080p that's been stretched out and basically AI's filled in the blanks, and that is what PSSR is. And there's other technologies that do the same thing, FSR, DLSS from NVIDIA, and a lot of studios have released PSSR. Some have looked great with PSSR. I'm not dissing PSSR, but it's still a new upscaling technology by most standards, both metrics. But a lot of developers have had to backtrack and go back to FSR, the upscaling tech used by the PS5, the regular PS5. And games have actually looked better in some cases than PSSR. Sony's quietly improving it, and hopefully PSSR will be the de facto #1 upscaling tech for PS5 Pro. Let's talk about it. Let's get excited about it. I'm Blaze2K first. But before we get to the video, guys, check all the links down below in the video description for the best tech you could find, hands down. We've got all the best tech of the year, all the best PS5 Pro accessories and PS5 accessories, all the best Steam Deck accessories if that's your thing, and the best coffee ever made by mankind with nootropic mushrooms that just improves your health. And talking of health, if you want to invest in your sleep and your health overall, the best smart ring that tracks your sleep and tracks basically a bunch of body metrics for you, the Ultra Human Ring Air. Use my links down below to save money right now. Click them, click them, click them. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the video. So, this article comes courtesy of PlayStation Lifestyle. So, they've basically been quietly improving PS5 Pro's PSSR behind the scenes, following some early criticisms of the PS5 Pro's spectral super resolution PSSR. It looks like Sony's making continuous back-end improvements to its tech, according to developers working on the PS5 Pro version of their game. There are already a few versions of PSSR, and things are quickly improving. PS5 Pro's PSSR originally caused graphics issues in some games, whether it's, you know, foliage, grass looking really weird and bugged out. A lot of things have went wrong, especially in games with a lot of dense foliage, with a lot of moving things at the same time, stuff on top of other stuff. You know, PSSR and AI upscaling can only go so far, right, to make that look realistic and stretch that image out and make it look sharp and make it look realistic. And obviously that's one of the pain points. And I think a lot of other technologies like FSR upscaling and then DLSS have faced similar issues, but obviously with Sony's PSSR being so new and being so fresh, obviously they're still running into a lot of the earlier issues other techs had, but they're slowly getting through that and slowly improving it. So back to the article. Although the PS5 Pro impressed at launch, some games that were patched with PS5 Pro enhanced updates ended up experiencing graphical issues, including but not limited to excessive shimmer. Sony didn't publicly acknowledge the issue, but players found that switching to 120 FPS resolved some of the issues. Fast forward to yesterday when Star Wars Jedi Survivor received a PS5 Pro update to fix some visual issues. The official patch notes mentioned that the game was updated to the latest PSSR version, and we covered this in the video. Star Wars Jedi Survivor got a PS5 Pro patch. It was absolutely atrocious, and at the time a lot of people said it was due to the old PSSR SDK, that they weren't using the latest version of PSSR. Well, they finally updated to the latest PSSR, and it seems to be solving a lot of the issues they had. Following this, a developer behind Truck Driver, the American Dream, revealed on Reset Era that PSSR is improving at a relatively good pace. Now, this is something, like I said, that's going to improve over time. It's using AI, they're filling in the blanks, they're improving it. It's going to be implemented into more games, and as we get it into more games, it's going to make games look better and better. It's going to get more optimized. It's going to make games run at just better frame rates and look visually better. Upscaling technology is one of those things that's really improved dramatically with the advent of AI, and it's like one of those gifts that keeps on giving. You know, as time gets on, as upscaling tech, frame generation, etc., gets better and better, we're able to run more demanding games on lesser hardware. it's pretty amazing. I mean, games on things like the Steam Deck here that I have, it's a handheld gaming PC, you know, have got dramatically better. I'm able to run games like AAA releases on this thing and get solid frame rates because of things like upscaling, like FSR, frame gen. And obviously with that technology coming to consoles now, it's just a win-win for all of us. And with PSSR being specific to PlayStation, obviously, hopefully it benefits PlayStation the most. As opposed to some of these other FSR techs like AMD and DLSS. The dev who goes by Coral Sky on the gaming forum said that while they are unable to reveal how frequently PSSR is revised, that would have been interesting to know, there have been a few updates already and their game is already moving to the latest version. This is certainly good news. Have our readers noticed any changes? Have you noticed any changes? Let me know in the comment section. How are your PS5 Pro games running? The ones with PSSR, have they slowly been getting improved? Have you noticed any improvements, or are you still seeing some graphical issues and glitches, like shimmering? Some games obviously have the option to turn PSSR on or turn it off. Game graphical settings on consoles are becoming very much like PC versions, where you could tinker with like what options you want to turn on and off, what resolution, do you want performance mode, quality mode, do you want to improve textures, do you want to have high textures on high, ultra, or low, all that sort of stuff. I love the fact that it's coming to consoles are becoming more like gaming PCs every year. But yeah, and I'm here for it. I love consoles. And Xbox, if you're listening, let us run Windows on your Xbox. Let us have a desktop environment where we can download and use it as a gaming PC. How cool would that be? Anyways, guys, I'll quit rambling. Let me know what you think in the comments. Obviously, it's good that PSSR is getting updated. Sony's continuously working on it, pushing out updates. But obviously, it falls to the developers to implement these PSSR updates. And I think Sony really needs to maybe take the reins on this and push out updates to PSSR, regardless of whether developers implement the latest updates to it. Kind of like how Steam on the Steam Deck does that to Proton, updates Proton, and it, the updates and improvements apply to all the games that use it. So yeah, that would be handy. Anyways, guys, I love you, I appreciate you. I'm Blaze2K. I'll see you in the next video. If you love PlayStation content, consider clicking like, subscribe, clicking the bell icon, and checking back every so often. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Let's go.